Just makes you want to get up and dance.
Abby Huntsman, great to see you this morning. Tucker Carlson, nice to see you this morning.
Thank you. Clayton Morris, I should say, is now the father of 3.
Is that amazing?
What?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, ladies and gentlemen. You have a new daughter, and I'm sorry to embarrass you. Maybe you don't even want to talk about it, but I can't help myself.
Well, thank you very much.
It's wonderful.
You really forget, like, all the accoutrements after 4 years, you know, like all the creams and the bottles and the diapers, and that's just for me, taking care of me. And then you've got the stuff for the baby, and you've got all these other things. It's like all the stuff has changed in 4 years.
And changing diapers, you forgot how fun that was.
Well, there's new towels, there's new wraps. They're like, technology advances in 4 years. It's amazing.
We want to welcome Eve Morris. Remember the name. She's going to be famous.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Clayton. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
We want to take you down the road to the White House. Donald Trump fully embracing the label deplorables while Hillary Clinton tries to stir up controversy about her opponent.
Yep, Garrett Tenney is live for us from Washington, D.C. this morning with more. Garrett, good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see y'all as well. And Clayton, congratulations. I want to tell you, though, I attended a Donald Trump rally earlier this week in Ohio, and I can tell you firsthand, Hillary Clinton's basket of deplorables comment has really become a badge of honor for many of Donald Trump's supporters. And that was the case, and it was clear last night at a rally in Miami as well, when the candidate took the stage with a song from the Broadway musical Les Miserables, or Les Miserables, blasting throughout the arena. Take a listen. After a rough week, the Clinton campaign is now trying to reignite some controversy by saying that Trump is again inciting his supporters to violence after Trump was talking about the Second Amendment last night, highlighting the hypocrisy of Clinton wanting to take away people's guns while she's protected by armed bodyguards.
I think that her bodyguards should drop all weapons. They should disarm, right? Right? I think they should disarm. Immediately. What do you think? Yes? Yes. Yeah. Take their guns away. She doesn't want guns. Let's see what happens to her. Take their guns away. Okay? It'll be very dangerous.
The Clinton campaign responded much like it did last month after Trump made similar comments, saying in a statement, Donald Trump has a pattern of inciting people to violence, whether this is done to provoke protesters at a rally or casually or even as a joke. It is an unacceptable quality in anyone seeking the job of commander-in-chief. If you look at the latest poll numbers, there's good reason the Clinton camp is doing everything it can to change the narrative from Clinton's health and email scandals. After leading Trump by 6 points just 2 weeks ago, she's now barely ahead by 1.5 points in the Real Clear Politics average. Abby, Tucker, Clayton.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Garrett.
Thanks, Garrett.
And look at the media reaction to this, of course, because now that the birther thing has moved on over the past few days, it seems like the media jumping down right on these comments.
It's an assassination attempt.
Right. And you look at these headlines. Look at the New York Times quote.
This is the lead. Donald J. Trump once again raised the specter of violence against Hillary Clinton, suggesting Friday the Secret Service agents who guard her voluntarily disarm to see what happens to her without their protection.
And NBC said this when Donald Trump again alludes to violence against Hillary Clinton. NPR as well. Trump's Second Amendment rhetoric again veers into threatening territory. When we just heard the sound there from Garrett Tenney, and you can help walk us through this, Tucker. I mean, it sounds like he was saying she should experience what it's like without the protection of bodyguards, without guns. You know, it's a dangerous world out there.
He's calling out her hypocrisy. Here's someone who lectures the rest of us on diversity and sends her own daughter to the nation's most expensive private school, who lectures us about our carbon footprints and flies private, and who lectures the rest of us on gun ownership and is surrounded at all times by men with automatic weapons who we pay for. He's making the point she ought to live by the laws that she espouses for others. He was making a rhetorical point. He wasn't threatening her life, and they know that. They're so dishonest, the press, so panicked that he might win, that they're just ignoring fairness, which is a bad quality in a journalist.
And maybe the response should have been on the facts. Hillary Clinton has repeatedly said, I don't intend to overturn the Second Amendment. When she's out at campaign events, she talks about her stance on guns, and she says, despite what you hear from Donald Trump, this is how I feel. Also, from her pneumonia break, we heard that she was going to change the tone of her campaign, focusing on talking about children and families and not going after Donald Trump, calling him a bigot, calling him these other things, and elevating the rhetoric of the campaign, many think that she needed to because of her poll numbers sagging.
Yeah, you do wonder if this is a sign of desperation, because there are 52 days left until the election, and
you've got to be scared. Look at Virginia, look at Ohio right now.
Ohio, in one poll, I mean, he's up 5 points. You know, you wonder if she feels like this is slipping out of her hands. You remember just on Monday when she was in bed with pneumonia or the flu, their campaign in 1 hour sent out, like 40 tweets in a row. And you think about Hillary Clinton, she's been thinking about running for office, or actually running for almost half of her life. She's got the ground game. She's got the money. She's got pretty much everything you need to run a presidential campaign. Running against someone who never has done this before, doesn't have the ground game like she has. And you look at the latest polls, and now it's a dead heat. And as you said, in some of the swing states, he's up. They've got to be a bit concerned about where this is going.
Well, they're terrified, and the press is terrified. That's what shocks me. Of course she's worried. She doesn't have a message, and so she's losing, is my read. But the press shouldn't be taking sides. But they've decided that Trump is such a threat to them and to the country that nothing they can say about him qualifies as unfair. They are destroying their credibility. The New York Times has been around for 165 years, and in the past year, it has become totally discredited because the people working there have decided that they're no longer journalists, they're surrogates for Hillary. It's unbelievable.
One of the other big problems for the Clinton campaign recently has been the Clinton Foundation. And remember a few weeks ago we were talking about, guys, that fall campaign event, or that fall bash that they were going to hold for hundreds of thousands of dollars a plate, and whether or not they were actually going to cancel it because it was right before the debates. Well, no, it looks like it happened, and it was actually Bill's birthday, and it ended up being this big star-studded bash.
And a lot of money to get in.
Now, you went to this last night.
I did. It was wonderful.
It's at the Rainbow Room over at NBC.
So you paid for the most expensive one.
I was on the chair, so I had to pay $250K.
This is amazing. To get in, just to be clear, you were not there. $250,000 just to get a chair. That's a great chair. That better be a fantastic chair.
Well, they're also not announcing who these donors are.
What is a
So
you get to be the co-chair.
I don't mean to laugh at it, but if this is the face of addiction, if you've ever known someone who's got, diabetes and keeps eating ice cream, or is an alcoholic and keeps drinking beer, this is the Clintons with fundraising. They know it's hurting them. They know the public distrusts them because they won't disclose who's giving them money and buying access with it. And yet, 55 days before a presidential election, they continue to do it. Why? They're not benefiting from this because they can't help themselves.
Right.
That's why.
Well, and Bill Clinton, who many were saying is going to be her biggest asset throughout this campaign, continues to be involved in headlines that have people scratching their head, saying maybe it's better if he just doesn't really speak out.
But does the foundation really need 55 days before the election? Do they really need to be raising money for the Clinton Foundation?
It's their last.
By the way, there was a piece this week, I don't know if you saw it, that said the sum total of money actually given to charity by the Clinton Foundation, less than 6%. Less than 6%. So all this money they're raising, where does it go? It doesn't go to the poor. It goes to the employees and the friends of the foundation.
Yeah. Well, I do think it gives Donald Trump a lot of material to focus on. His message is very different. He's going to be change in Washington. He's going to be something different than we've seen. He's got to focus on that. I mean, he's got to really be careful not to get off script at this point, because, as we said, the polls are neck and neck.
You can tell right now what's happening. Now that Hillary Clinton's back from her pneumonia break, I mean, they're baiting him. They're waiting for him to make that flub again to change the headlines and have her poll numbers go back up again. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on this. We'll dive into.
Can I say one thing? How many people wouldn't vote for Trump if it weren't for the media? I know people are saying, you know what, Trump kind of makes me nervous, but the press is so out of control, I want to vote against them.
It's a good question.
Right.
I think there are people out there like that.
Interesting. All right, we do have some headlines we want to get to this morning, and we do begin with a Fox News alert. 4 police officers shot down in the line of duty in 2 separate cities, Philadelphia and Fort Worth. First in Philadelphia, where Sergeant Sylvia Young was shot at least 8 times while chasing a suspect. Police say